Hi folks, welcome to the week in Marvel Avengers Alliance here on YouTube. I'm your host Nathan Dawn, and today is January 29th. Today's background music is brought to you by YouTube Red Music. It is a playlist of music that are available for free on YouTube. A link will be up in the description. So, what have we got going today? First, in dealing with older stuff, I now have Winter Soldier. Here he is on the flight deck, and he is level 7. He is fast approaching his level 9, where we have all of his moves unlocked. Level 6 is where Winter Soldier really hits the meat of what he can do. And if you check out the other video on my channel of Dirty Tricks Volume 8, you get to see some things that you can do with Winter Soldier's minds being magnetized. Now, on the stream today, since PvP went live today, I'll be returning to streaming every single day, at least for the live PvP 5. But during the stream today, we poked around with some other ways of setting off the mines. Now, in the Dirty Tricks video, I had it basically where the agent was providing the debuffs, or Red Hulk was providing the debuffs, and my agent was doing the magnetize to set off all the mines. Well, there are other combinations you could do, like having the agent put out the debuffs and having somebody else magnetize the mines. One of the ways that stands out is Amazing Spider-Girl with her quick action, and of course there is also Victor with his level 2 AoE. So any of those combinations work out, and we were playing around in the simulator area, taking on fights that had ads like the Sin fight and the Maximus fight, and it worked out really well. Basically, there are 3 components to that setup: the mines, a detonator, and debuffs for the mines to exploit when they go off. Now, in that particular video, I used things like Red Hulk's Gamma Bomb and the X-Obliv with 3 pieces of the Horseman set. Now, those aren't the only things that you could do. Basically, we're focused on AoE debuffs and AoE blowing up. If you don't have the X-Obliv, there is something that you can get in the store for gold, and is called the ISO loaded scattergun. It is 52 gold, and it applies chaos shot to the enemy team and is up every single round. So if you were using, let's say, Victor, the ideal round would be for your agent to shoot the scattergun, then for Winter Soldier to put out his mines, and then Victor to go ahead and blow them up with his level 2. It is definitely conceivable to pull off a near team wipe in the first round with this kind of setup. So the Solar Storm, the Polarized Storm are the big things the agent can do to AoE magnetize. As JW pointed out in the last video, we also had the PvP reward of the Volt Cannon. However, the Volt Cannon's a little tougher to use in that you need to supply it a Volt charge in order to actually use the gun, so you need to have some electricity attacks around, and apparently my defensive team is taking a lot of battles here. So I did more than 5 on the first day, and I've taken 2 defenses so far. This guy over here, Panda, has definitely spent a lot of money already, and we have a gold sale today, so we will get into that after we discuss the PvP items. The Debbie, or the Little Debbie, or the Dark Energy Blade is definitely already making an appearance in PvP. I have fought several low teams running the Debbie already. And these were people who, you know, basically Diamond was their highest rank. These two over here, Charcaculilo and Danvers, and Danvers were running the Debbie, and these guys were way below me in stats. So the Debbie is making an appearance. It does seem to be proccing quite well for defensive teams, but it doesn't always stop me from doing what I want to do. Now, I'm considering putting in the Debbie over here, but Emma's taken a nerf. And that's in the patch notes today, and I'll link that in the description. But before we get into that, let us actually look at the rewards of this season. 100k silver, 10 gold. The Grim Hunter. It is a one-shot gun. Looks like the Golden 49er, but a little less ornate. It is a bio attack that does ranged gun and bio. Has Hunter Sense, takes 10% less damage for each application of bleeding and poison. It does Dizzy, Poison Slow, Knockout Gas, Nano Plague, potentially other things that are off the screen. The Nano Plague, I don't know if it's a guaranteed 100%. Knockout Gas, this is a new one. Stunned until hit by any action. So it's like an old-fashioned crowd control. Like a sheep in World of Warcraft, where you could crowd control somebody and they would stay that way until they were hit by damage or the timer expires. So my guess is that with Knockout Gas, you want to make sure you don't splash too much AoE. Very interesting. I don't know if that means it will work multiple rounds. So for example, if you Knockout Gas the enemy agent and then do all single targets for that round, the enemy agent's turn is up, he's stunned. Is he then still stunned for another 2 rounds, or does he go into the whole diminishing returns area and he can't be stunned anymore right after his first turn? I'm gonna think this is going to have a lot of synergy with the Savage Spear. Or anything that puts out lots of AoE bleeds, like Fandral. Fandral would be very good for this, because Fandral can be equipped with Sting, the Infiltrator ISO that says counterattacks apply poison. And then he can drop 3 stacks of bleeds on people with the Chandelier. So, we've been discussing on the stream that perhaps this gun is really not very good due to the 4-round cooldown, but it remains to be seen what the damage is. We have the Scrapper suit, which is a infused tech suit. It has 1 ISO slot, phenomenal evasion, a phenomenal accuracy, very good attack, very poor defense, very poor evasion. This is an aggressive suit, not a defensive suit by any stretch. Using the PKB method, you would give it health, attack, very little accuracy, and then defense. It has a passive of the Faraday suit, so there is in the game Faraday Nimrods. That's probably where it's getting its name from. You are immune to harmful electric effects, and you apply static charge on single target attacks. So interestingly enough, the suit is kind of its own counter. Shock Gloves. Single target attacks are guaranteed to critically hit. Unarmed attacks gain shocking, melee attacks gain charged attacks, triggering the static shock. So I think one of the best applications for the suit is to run this with the Widow's Way Age of Ultron ISO to make you stealthy on single target, and then just kind of, rip up with single target attacks. As people on the stream were saying, this would be phenomenal for Thor, Beta Ray Bill, and Victor type teams. Could be scary after this season. Then we also have Kraven, and we have the Lizard lockboxes. So in knowing about the tasks, I think we are getting 30, 30, 40 for 3 weeks. 30 lockboxes for the first task, and then 30, and then 40. So here is classic Kraven the Hunter. He is a tactician. He has decent stamina attack, poor defense, very high accuracy, very high evasion. So he's almost infiltrator-ish. Using the PKB method, you're going to bump up his health a lot, and attack, and accuracy, and you're going to favor evasion over defense. Sinister 6. Other former Sinister 6 members gain targeted on single target attacks. Does this mean people like Boomerang and Sandman, excuse me. That'll be interesting. The Hunter reduces damage from attackers with poison and bleeding, preemptively counters bleeding enemies, follows up on single target attacks on poison enemies, so again, might pair up really well with Fandral, or definitely another infiltrator, especially a bleedy infiltrator like, say, perhaps Elektra, or Nightcrawler. Nightcrawler, of course, does have the Mystic Shroud ISO for himself, so that'd be good. I am the Hunter. Hemorrhaging attack, contagion, one enemy, dizzy, poisoned, and slowed. So right now, I'm seeing a lot of very good synergy between him and Nightcrawler. The most dangerous game, poisoned, ravaged, and bleeding times 2. Be prepared, which is a multi-function free action. Bear trap. Kraven prepares a trap against the next incoming melee attack. Applies enfeebled, reducing the damage of the incoming melee attack. Applies disabled, the next action will have its cooldown. So it's like mechanical stress. Can't prepare another trap for round. Be prepared. Net trap. He prepares a trap against an incoming ranged attack and he implies woozy. So again, a lot of similarities here with Shaina in the Savage Sphere. Poison Mist Trap. Prepares a trap to remove the beneficial and harmful effects of an enemy's buff or debuff. And you get Torpid and Disabled. And these all have 3-round cooldowns. So you can't do multiple traps in a round, which is good. And he also has Hunter's Thirst. Mystical Concoction. The next single target attack gains Exploit Bleeds and Exploit Poison. Super heroic that he could activate himself. I'm going to guess that he's going to be decent for offense. He might be very tough to run on defense. However, because this has it starts cooled down, that kind of limits himself a bit, so he would probably prepare a trap and then do one of these. The thing is, will he prepare the right trap? He could be tough to run on defense, but he might be interesting. Nightcrawler and Shaina are some people that stand out for me with him. Any way of applying poison, perhaps through the Sting ISO or Hunter gear, Agent gear would be good. And he's got some pressure points over here. He doesn't seem to exploit them anywhere, but he does have some good setup of pressure points. Here we have Lizard. Cold-blooded. Gains blood runs. Cold. My memory has just been sold. My angel is the centerfold. Every round. Prevented by chilled and ice attacks. Connor's in control. Becomes a tactician. He applies disadvantage while Connors is in control, replaced by Lizard Brain. Gains reptilian regeneration every round. We're pretty sure what that is. Burning, poison, and fire stops it. Other former Sinister Six members get the regenerative serum also. Septic Bite, malignant poison, just like the those tech/psychic items, the cybernetic set from a while back. Open wound and disadvantage. So he shuts down other classes somewhat with a generalized over there in the disadvantage. That means if he goes after a infiltrator and hits, the infiltrator can no longer counter. Conduct experiment is a quick action. He removes debuffs. He has 10% chance to cause side effects, probably on himself. Experimental treatment prevents burning, chilled, and poison. And he becomes a scrapper. When he's a scrapper, he's immune to psychic effects. Chance to evade psychic attacks. Replaced by Connors in control. Interesting. So there's sort of like a built-in Emma counter there. Tail swipe, hobbled, fumbling, and disadvantage again. And we have exploit opportunity over here. So, I'm sorry, yeah, these aren't pressure points, these are the opportunistic. Well, wait a minute. No, those are the pressure points, yeah. Dizzy and everything is pressure points. This is opportunistic. He exploits bleeds and poison, and he has a hemorrhaging attack, and then all kinds of stuff happen. Off balance, corner exhausted. So he's going to work out really well with Kraven. He's also going to work out with, it seems like, bleeders. People who like attrition exploiting, like Pesty and whatnot. You may see him getting teamed up with Pesty. That's for definite sure. So here we have Red She-Hulk, which I managed to get today on the stream. finally finished the last task for that, so now I own her. There's Winter Soldier. So, my current tasks: 4 stars of mastery. I need to 4-star mission 3 and then I'll have that. Need to get radiation pills for the actuator and for the photon ray. And there you can see I have 8 out of my 15 battles. So tomorrow will be a guaranteed 5, and I'd probably take another 3 just to nail that down pretty early. I like the looks of his reptilian box. There are some lockboxes that I really like the looks of, others that I hate. I really like this reptilian one. It has a cool texture to it. The Winter Soldier one is, of course, pretty cool. Hated the boomerang ones. Kind of okay with Mordo. Blizzard ones were cool. I really liked Superior. So that's what we got going for the week in Marvel Avengers Alliance. So we have some patch notes today based on some heroes. ASG, her webbed application now has a 2-round cooldown. That's just unnecessary. That really bothers me. With the fact that she doesn't splash her webs as much as she used to, by putting a 2-round cooldown on her ranged attack, that just means that after that goes out, the only thing that she could really do is melee, which in this realm of, you know, bruisers that do drain tanking, that's just really not good. Yes, it's stealthy and you can walk around it, but I really disagree with that. I think it's too much. Emma also has taken a bit of a nerf in the fact that what is going on with her is that the Psychic Tap no longer automatically triggers the, if it is applied as a pre-counter. Now, Hyperion's gonna tank this, but I'm just... No, apparently I'm gonna walk around it. Seems odd. But my guess is that if you do a turn-ending move on somebody, and she pre-fires the Psychic Tap, my guess as to what's going to happen is the Psychic Tap is then going to sit on that person, let's say my agent, and is going to sit there until the next round. And if I do actions on that round instead of resting, that's when the Psychic Tap is going to hit. But the question is, if I do a quick action, let's say Emma's here, and I do this Fire Tornado as a quick action, and she preemptively counters with a Psychic Tap, does that mean the Psychic Tap is going to hold, and then if I do something like this, is that when it's going to fire? Or is it going to wait until the next round? That kind of remains to be seen. I will say that I've definitely learned that the Little Debbie, or the Deb, the Dark Energy Blade, we're going to be seeing it this season. There is no doubt in my mind that anybody who had the Deb is probably going to try to work it in there. And considering Emma's nerfs, I would think that the Deb is going to help replace some of what Emma was doing. And as we also know, the amount of health drained off of the Psychic Tap is also getting reduced. This is where I think they've gone too far. They should have reduced the amount of damage of Psychic Tap and then left it alone. Because then at that point, it becomes a tactical decision. It used to be last season, if you knew you were going to get hit with the Psychic Tap and you weren't immune to it, you avoided it at all costs. If they just nerf the damage, then you're faced with a tactical decision. Well, the damage is less, I really need to get this debuff out. I'll take the Psychic Tap, because it won't do that much, and I'll just heal it up when the next turn comes around, or when Have comes around, or when my healer can heal me. No big deal. So you make a tactical decision at that point. Do I have enough health to swallow a Psychic Tap or not? But with the fact that the pre-counter won't automatically tap you and the damage is reduced, essentially you have taken a Siegfried and Roy level incident, a tiger that could kill somebody, and you've knocked it down to a kitten. Yes, a kitten can sit there and still rip open your skin with an unlucky claw, as it just goes bonkers on you, but by the same token, it's not nearly as threatening as it used to be. So the jury is out on how effective Emma will be, but we're definitely going to see a lot of debs. And the good thing about seeing a lot of debs is that most of the counters in place for Emma last season, like the experiment and things like that, they're going to help you in this season, so you already have a leg up to help prevent what the little Debbie may do to you. But it'll be interesting to see how the season plays out. And honestly, if we're going to get this PvP, at least we got it so early in the Spec Ops that maybe the Gamma meta that we're thinking will happen might not be in full swing yet. So, if you're afraid of that potential meta, start getting your stuff in now so that maybe you're in a good point by the time it hits. So, I hope you guys all enjoyed the video. Join me on Twitch every day as I do my live PvP 5. If you subscribe to me on Twitter, you'll know that I'm about ready to go live because I'll send out a blast. And if you follow me on Twitch, whenever I start streaming, Twitch will send you a notification that I'm now live. So take care, everybody, and I will see you in the Marvel Universe. Take care.